Imagine a tank. Not a normal tank designed to fight other armor, but a 65-ton mobile earthquake. A machine so ridiculously overpowered that it didn't fire standard tank shells. Instead, it fired 380mm naval rockets, projectiles nearly the size of a human being, originally designed to destroy submarines. One shot from this monster didn't just pierce a wall, it completely vaporized entire city blocks. This is the Sturmtiger. Arguably the most terrifying, yet bizarrely impractical armored vehicle of World War II. But why did Nazi Germany build a tank that needed a literal crane just to load its ammo? To understand the Sturmtiger, we have to go back to 1942. The brutal, meat-grinder urban warfare of Stalingrad. The German army realized they had a massive problem. Standard tanks, like the Panzer IV, were built for open fields. When they rolled into cities, their 75mm guns were practically useless against heavily fortified concrete buildings and factories. Infantry units were getting slaughtered trying to clear out houses room by room. The High Command demanded a solution. They needed a bunker buster, a heavily armored assault gun that could roll right up to an enemy stronghold, take a direct hit, and instantly level the building with a single trigger pull. The idea was simple. The execution was pure insanity. Building a completely new tank from scratch would take too long. So, German engineers did what they do best, they overcomplicated things. They took the chassis of severely damaged Tiger I tanks returning from the front lines, ripped off the turrets, and welded on a massive, box-like steel superstructure. The front armor was incredibly thick, 150mm of sloped steel. It was practically invincible to frontal anti-tank fire of that era. But the real star of the show was the weapon. They couldn't fit a traditional artillery cannon big enough to level buildings inside the tank. The recoil would literally tear the vehicle apart. So, they borrowed a weapon from the German Navy, a modified 380mm anti-submarine depth charge launcher, adapted to fire rocket-propelled grenades. The ammunition was terrifying. Each rocket-propelled shell weighed 348 kilograms, that's almost 770 pounds. They were so unbelievably heavy that the 5-man crew couldn't load them by hand. The Sturmtiger had to be equipped with an external loading crane just to lift the shells into the vehicle. Inside, a special internal winch system and a sliding tray were used to shove the giant rocket into the breech. Because the shells were so massive, the tank could only carry 14 rounds in total. When the weapon fired, it was deafening. The barrel featured a ring of ventilation holes to vent the massive exhaust gases out the front, preventing the pressure from blowing the crew compartment apart. When it hit a target, the results were apocalyptic. During the Warsaw Uprising in 1944, Sturmtigers were brought in to crush the resistance. A single 380mm rocket could completely collapse a multi-story building, turning a fortified defensive position into a crater in seconds. But raw power comes at a steep price. Weighing 65 tons, the Sturmtiger was a mechanical nightmare. It used the exact same engine as the standard Tiger I, which was already famous for breaking down. Now, carrying extra armor and naval rockets, the transmission and suspension were pushed beyond their breaking point. Furthermore, reloading took up to 15 minutes per shot. In the fast-paced reality of combat, standing still for 15 minutes makes you a prime target. In the end, the Sturmtiger was a weapon built for a war Germany was no longer fighting. By the time it entered service in late 1944, the German army wasn't assaulting cities anymore, they were on the defensive, retreating on all fronts. A hyper-specialized, slow-moving siege engine was completely useless against swarms of fast-moving Soviet T-34s and American Shermans. Only 18 of these beasts were ever built. Most were abandoned by their own crews after running out of fuel or breaking down. The Sturmtiger remains a perfect symbol of late-war Nazi engineering, mechanically brilliant, terrifyingly powerful, and strategically completely useless. What do you think? Was the Sturmtiger a misunderstood masterpiece of engineering, or just a giant waste of steel? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed diving into the archives of military history, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join Nationwide Machinery.